Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. How about I thought I was actually live, but I wasn't, and I'm just up here talking and talking and wasn't even on. Oh man, who knows how much longer that could have went on? I could have had a conversation with myself all afternoon and would have been none the wiser, right? Anyway, let's see here. Oh, did I forget that? All right. So let me say hello to a few people. Connie Balmer. Looks like Connie was first. And then Lydia Washington and Brigitte Jean Cross. And then who else? Karen M. Annie Bullard. Annie wants to say hello to a few people. Are you guys feeling the Christmas spirit yet? There are some big, fat, wet, sloppy snowflakes coming down as we speak. And, I don't want anyone to be injured or miss their flights or anything bad to happen, but I love the snow. I really do. Everything is all white and there's like this stillness in the air, and it's feeling a lot like Christmas, to borrow that little part of the song. It seems it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and I love it. Hello, Colorless, and who else is here? Dorothy Ross is here. Hi, Dorothy Ross. Fancy, fancy. Rodney Jackson. Marie Lisette. Oh, I like the name Lisette. Let's see. Sharon Chung. And who else? Kat Harlem. And Gwen Daniels, hi. Hello, Leah Torrey, Mercedes Todd, Annie Bennett, hi. Marguerite Rollin, Emerald Derrick, Phyllis Johnson, Puzzle Dot, hello, Mary H. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to just go all the way down to the absolute last comment, which is, hi, Sherry Ware. Okay. Winsome Jones. I like that name, Winsome. And Jacqueline Davies. Laverne Plunkett. Hi. Oh, by the way, you guys, I did try the air fryer. So my sister sent her air fryer because she wasn't using it. And because I'm one of those people that just hate to waste anything, I certainly didn't want a new air fryer if someone has one and they're not using it. And it was very good. I like the way it cooks. Now, I have a Pizza Pizzazz, which is a pizza cooker that blows hot air and rotates and everything. And actually, the timing, it cooks about the same as the Pizza Pizzazz for some things. And then other things, it cooks its own way. But I love it. I think it's really, really cool. I like the way everything is contained. Um, yeah, and you know what? Most things I don't use any oil. Um, if it's something frozen, it already has oil. If you can cook it in the oven without oil, you can cook it in the air fryer without oil. So yeah, pretty cool. Thank you very much, everyone, for the good advice about getting one. So yeah, now I have one and I love it. So thank you very much for all of the good advice or recommendations. Hello, Pam Porter, Nighty Night, Lucy Wynn, Elaine Parker. Hello. Okay. Huh. Moritz V. Hello. Nasipo Sepamela. All right. Hello. Livia Johnson. Did I say hi already? Okay. Oh, you like the Pizza Pizzazz, huh? Is my appliance. It's in your appliance graveyard. Now, see, if I didn't have one, I would tell you to send it to me. But yeah, I don't use it all the time. But especially if you're cooking some horse nerves, that's those little snacks, those horse nerves. If you're cooking some horse nerves, Hello, VS Speaks Royally. If you're cooking some hors d'oeuvres, that's perfect for the pizza pizzazz. What's your favorite hors d'oeuvres? Uh, am I driving you all crazy saying hors d'oeuvres? Let me know so I can think of something else that'll drive you crazy. But I love hors d'oeuvres. Did you ever see that movie Bullets Over Broadway? And the maid, I forget what her name was, Venus. She goes, "I don't cook nothing with horses, especially hors d'oeuvres, because I don't know what they are, and you don't either. So I'm not cooking nothing with horses, especially hors d'oeuvres." So my goal is that you guys will be in mixed company around some very affluent people, and you're going to slip and say hors d'oeuvres since I have programmed that in your psyche. Hors d'oeuvres made with horses. Of course, some people who may actually have hors d'oeuvres offered to them may feel like a bit of a cannibal, but oh man, okay, let me stop being silly. I'm in a good mood because of the snow, but I do have work to do. So let me get started. Oh, let's see. I'm sorry. It moved. I was trying to click on this in clouds while working. Very cool, VS Speaks. I'm not sure what that means, but um, did Church Nelly send you some of her elixir in the clouds? Are you happy in the clouds? Are you in love in the clouds? You don't have to share if you don't want to, but interesting. Thank you for sharing it with us. And Sharon Carla Hudson Ayayi, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy, what is today? Thursday to you. Happy Thursday. And thank you so much for being here. And Shelly L says, "Hello, squaddies. It's Throwback Thursday. Here's a pic of me standing my first guard duty at the steps of Air Force One. Wow, when Obama was president, that's amazing. I love that. You know, if you don't mind, I like to share that in the community tab. If you don't mind sharing it, say on the my Twitter inbox, and then that way we can see it clear on the community tab. But how nice! That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. Air Force One. Wow, that is incredible. I'm sure it had to be surreal to see Air Force One up close and like all colorful and huge and everything. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Also, thank you so much for the super chat. Wow. Air Force One. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would be so excited about that. So, anyway, where am I going? Okay, I need to get over here. Yes, there we go. Uh, let me see here. One more before I get started. Cat Harlem says, Baron, I will never say horses derves or horse derves. Okay. Horse, wait, horse derves. I love horse derves. The only people who are actually afraid of horse derves are people who feel cannibalistic. I don't make nothing with horse derves. No, wait, no, I said that wrong. I don't make nothing with horses, especially horse derves, because I don't know what they are and you don't either. But I love that movie, Bullets Over Broadway. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, wait a minute. I need to get comfortable. I have a standing desk. Now I don't feel like standing. If you hear a creaking sound, that may be the mechanical desk, or that may be the aging host. I haven't decided yet. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, you're going to think about Charles Fingers? Is that why you don't want sausage links? Because you're going to feel like you're eating those royal digits? Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys are in a good mood. I can see from a few of the comments and the laugh emojis that you guys are in a good mood. It's been kind of a rough weekend, and now it's winding down to Christmas, and I hope we can get there without anything Sussex related or not, without anything to distract us. Okay, so enjoy your friends and families, enjoy a good movie, enjoy your friends that are families. Um, enjoy all of those things. Let's see. All right, so Connie Balmer. Thank you, Connie Balmer, for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And by the way, Connie Balmer, my aunt had actually bought me some kitchen shears, and when she noticed that one of the squatties had actually sent me not one but two pairs of kitchen shears, which I use so often, she said she just kind of sank. But I told her, I said, it's a different shear for a different mood. And, you know, whether it's cutting a chicken in half or opening up an Amazon box, I like having my kitchen shears right there in the drawer next to the sink. So in other words, I kind of let her down easy. I mean, the ones she got were nice, but they weren't as nice as. So yeah, she felt kind of weird about that. But yeah, my aunt was here day before yesterday, and I made breakfast for everybody. Okay. Thank you so much again, Connie Baumer, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, Connie, I love a good set of kitchen shears. My favorite thing in the kitchen. Okay, so volume one, 81,000 million, rather, 555,000 hours. And then volume two, because so many people and word of mouth were talking about the first one, it turned into almost 100 million hours. Well, by now it's got to be. But these numbers change so much, I kind of hesitate to use them because I'm just expecting them to go up and up and up. But the docuseries has been doing very well. Let's see, number one in 27 countries and top 10 in 85 countries. So all of this gives me relief because, okay, I got to tell you guys this. So someone very close to me watched the docuseries and was a bit critical of it, saying that it seemed rather biased in some respects. And I'm like, okay, but you do understand that this was their opportunity to tell their story without going through the filter of those royal writers and journalists and people that have infiltrated the American media landscape, right? You do get that, right? Yeah, but it's just that some critics, and right there, I took pause because, guys, I know I'm constantly lecturing you about how to filter the information that you take in. And I hope I'm not overstepping the mark when I do that. But this is just a pet peeve of mine. Now, this is the thing. Not just one person, but a few people that I've spoken to about the Sussexes, a few friendships that were pretty much lost because of the Sussexes. It's not really just because of the Sussexes, it's because there is a pattern of, how do I put this? When you know someone, when you love someone, you're close to them, you know their voice. And when someone is parroting the commentators or parroting the panelists, like, say, on The View or Fox News or something like that, you know it. It's just like, where is this coming from? I know your voice. That's not you talking to me. I feel like I'm talking to some panelists on Loose Women. And when that happens, it's like, then I put a wall up because I'm like, oh my God, they've gotten to him. They've gotten to her. Now we're not going to get anywhere because everything that I say has to penetrate the authority of this person on television or on a podcast or something like that. And so all I can tell you guys is just be prepared, take a deep breath, swallow hard, and walk away or leave it alone, because some things you just it takes more time, and it may take more time than you exhausting yourself trying to explain how the odds have been stacked up against Harry and Meghan for ages. It's just like they don't get it, or they don't hear it, or they just can't see it, because I would say for the docuseries is their voice. They produced it. And yes, it is biasly telling their life story together. And that's what I was looking for. I don't want to hear all of the imbalance that comes from every report. Like, didn't they want their privacy? How come they haven't given up their titles? Or I thought they were, I don't want any of that stuff. I mean, I don't mind having a conversation, but if I'm talking to you, fine. But if I'm having this conversation and I'm hearing someone else's voice being parroted, I don't I don't want it. I don't want it. It's too frustrating for me. It's bad enough I get that from the mass media. And then when someone brings that mass media into a conversation and they're just not hearing anything or don't want to know anything, then it gets really frustrating. So, for the sake of my mental health, I just walk away. I just walk away. I don't feel good about being in an echo chamber. I don't want to be in an echo chamber. But at the very least, I want to have a balanced conversation. I want people to ask me questions about the Sussexes instead of just telling me what you heard. Ask me a question. Be curious. Find out why these things happen. And it's not just one like type of media, it's coming from everywhere. And I can't help but think they're making so much money. Gosh, they're making money. And just like this thing with the prime minister, is it the prime minister of New Zealand? Just like with the prime minister of New Zealand, that is, that's the moneymaker. And every media outlet is pretending like they don't know that this, documentary or docuseries, if it is, that this is something that the Sussexes are simply producing. They're not taking credit for something they didn't do, just as you will have anyone present, so and so presents. This is Meghan and Harry presents. What is the environmental guy that was friends with the Queen, Sir, whatever his name is? He presents stuff. He don't go to Africa and go out and record things. He's not going to the Arctic. He just presents it. But because it's Meghan and Harry, then all of a sudden everything is different. Instead of them just presenting it, they're trying to get away with something, or they're trying to bear false witness because it's Meghan and Harry. That is what frustrates me, is why does it always have to be something nefarious going on because Meghan and Harry is attached to it? Oh, it's so frustrating. Let's see here. Mercedes Todd says the Sussex squad is not caught in the Matrix. Many royalists or people who depend on the British media are still stuck in the Matrix. Yes, Mercedes Todd, and thank you for using that analogy, because that is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Hey, V Thomas. V Thomas wants to say hello to a few people. Let's see. Gwendolyn Daniels says, Baron, me and my family members got into it. I asked her, why would you say anything bad about Meghan? Her answer floored me. I don't have patience for people stuck on stupid. Oh my God. Oh, this is what I'm saying. It's just, yeah. Deep breath, swallow hard, try to move on. That's all I can say. And don't let it ruin your Christmas. Sorry, your Christmas. Don't let these things ruin your Christmas or holiday or Kwanzaa or what is it? Rosh Hashanah, Passover. Which is it? Wait. Hanukkah. Hanukkah. Okay. Anyway, I observe every holiday that can get me some time off from work. Mary H says, Baron, if you're talking about our people, if it's not low class drama calling each other bad names, getting down and dirty, um, they don't get it. I prefer dealing with the supremacists. Trust me. Oh man. Okay, let me see. Okay. I'm going to pop a vessel over the whole Megan doesn't have black friends. I want to slap the taste out of people's mouth. I've heard that too, and it was someone close to me who mentioned that to me about a week ago. Well, you must admit so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so, and I'm just like, um, I'm not even going to try to touch that one right there. Mm. And then what's interesting is a person who says that to me, I can say the same thing about them. I mean, day to day, I could say the same thing about them. And yet. So, oh, well, oh boy. Hey, well, you know what, you guys, I'm glad we're having this conversation because and sometimes I and I know it's not true, but sometimes I feel like I'm the only person who's experiencing this type of weirdness. And thanks for letting me know that I'm not. As I've gotten older, the desire to educate folks has diminished. Not worth the aggravation. David Attenborough. Oh yes, that's his name, David Attenborough. He's always presenting stuff. He doesn't go every place. He just presents. He just presents. I mean, this guy is on and off of private jets, chartered jets, every kind of jet you can think of, but he's known as a great environmentalist. He gets invited to every royal function you can think of, Sir David Attenborough, and and no one takes him to task for it. But you don't make money from David Attenborough, do you? Not like you can from Harry and Meghan. Pomerose says, thank you, Pam Porter. I truly believe they did their documentary as a love letter to their children, their lives in the world. I mean, in their words, for them to know the truth just in case. Yes, Pomerose. And I did they not mention that in the documentary? Or where did I hear that? But yeah, and that is very true. Harry wants to make sure, I'm sure both of them want to make sure that when asked the question, what did you do about all of this? Why didn't you tell your story? Especially while people are listening, better to do it while you have the world's attention than to wait until, everything is so dire that you can't really get an audience. And that can happen to anyone. Who knows what lengths the tabloids will go to try to destroy them, and that's what they have been doing. But there's a higher power on their side, and I don't mean the Sussex squad, although we have strength of our own, but there's a higher power that is in charge of things. And so the tabloids, despite all of their efforts, and of course that institution, they they still got the juice, as they say. So thank you very much, Pomeroy's, and thank you so much for the super chat and for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, so live to lead. Live to lead. Why is that all the way over there? Sorry about that. Live to lead, presented by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Presented by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Only on Netflix, December 31st. And of course, um, I'm going to be on December 31st. So we'll get a chance to talk about that. And I don't suspect that Live to Lead is going to be the caliber of the Harry and Meghan docuseries, but I'm going to watch it. It's presented by the Sussexes, so I will be there. And that's a promise. Okay. And then there's this Jacinda Ardern. There she is shaking hands with the Sussexes. Were they on the Oceania tour when this photo was taken? I believe they were. But anyway, there they are shaking hands. As you can see, a very cordial relationship, right? And then there's this. They were producing resources for future leaders with the focus on young leaders. She said, I've not been involved in the decision making around what happens next, and I have not had direct contact with the Sussexes. She said she stood by the interview and the foundation's right to use the footage how they saw fit. Ardern said on Wednesday that she had had no contact with the Sussexes about the project, and the footage they were using had come from a November 2019 interview with Nelson Mandela Foundation. They were producing resources for future leaders with the focus on young leaders. She said, I've not been involved in the decision making around what happens next, and I have not had direct contact with the Sussexes. She said, stood by the interview and the foundation's right to use it. Oh, somehow I repeated that one, but yeah. So there you have it. She's standing by their right to use the footage, and that's it. She had no direct contact. Fine. This is not distancing. And when I saw this, given the chronological order of things, meaning that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had died a couple years ago, I did not suppose that the Sussexes had an interview with her. The one word that I've been clinging to ever since I watched the trailer, presented by Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. It's interesting how I'm hearing what they're saying, and the tabloids are repeating what they didn't say, or hearing what they want to hear and repeating it in a way that does not reflect anything to do with the actual release of the trailer. It's just like you hit a switch and they go to work as busy as they can to try to figure out how can we disparage this project before it even gets started. But I'm not going to be so cynical that I'm not going to say, hey, thank you for the free publicity. I don't like them using the Sussexes and disparaging the Sussexes for the sake of clickbait, but it is free publicity. And, if you're really trying to destroy a person, this is the best way to lift them up and to ensure that they are constantly relevant. So, too bad we have to go through all this. People would be just as satisfied just to hear something nice about the Sussexes rather than having to listen to them try to bend and twist words to say something terrible about the Sussexes. And there is The Spare. Harry's book is being promoted in bookstores. I'm not sure exactly which bookstore this is, but I can't see any signage back there, but someone did post it on the Twitter. So that's where I borrowed this from. There's an image of Harry's book cover on a poster in a bookstore or the section of a bookstore. But or it may be a different kind of, I don't know what kind of store it is. But anyway, glad to see that they're promoting it, and can't wait to get my copy, which of course I've already paid for, like within, I don't know, an hour after they released the after within an hour of the press release. So that was when I paid for mine, and I decided to go to Target. I went to Target for my book. A lot of times we don't think of Target, we go to Amazon first, but I don't want to give Amazon all the money. And because I like Target, I wanted to support them. So quite often when I'm buying electronics and such, I will go to Target on occasion just to make sure that they are getting proper support because um, I'm going to tell you this too, not to diminish or disparage anybody else, but certain items I like to buy from a big box store like Target or Walmart rather than to take my chances online, certain items. And that's because I just want to make sure that it's real. Now, you can buy items from anywhere, and sometimes it's just not what it's supposed to be, but I take my chances with Target. That's all. Okay. All right. So right here. Oh yeah, we're changing another subject. Sorry about that. Let me see if there was anything you guys had to say before I go on. Hello, Beverly Hardy. Thank you for the warm welcomes. Or greetings, rather. Let me see. I wasn't going to buy it, but now I am. I hope they have audiobooks. I'm going to probably do both because I love to hear Harry's narration voice. Harry's voiceovers are amazing. So I want to hear Harry's story in Harry's voice. So, uh, oh, yes. Yes, that's true. That's true, Connie Balmer. I heard about that. And there's a reason why they like to use those. But yeah, I don't fool with those at all. I just do my other type of exchanges there. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, 4 months membership. Yeah, thank you so much. I did not see that. That reminds me too. Let me open up another screen so I can see what you guys are seeing. Cat Harlem has 4 months membership. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for being here. Oh, I see it now. Has the tabloids mentioned the agreement between Will and Harry? What about the betraying Harry by playing the game like did the Charles did Diana? Um, oh, I didn't see anything about that. You mean in the docu series? Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah. Oh, wait, no. You know what? I'm not sure. Let me stop. Hello, Anastasia Isabella. Okay. All right. So right here, King Charles to pay for the Duke of York's private security after refusing to do so for Prince Harry. And then even here on another one, they are just really pretty much repeating the same story from the Telegraph. Prince Andrew is to be stripped of his taxpayer-funded Metropolitan Police protection as he no longer performs public duties. His armed personal protection officer will be replaced by private security guards at an estimated, oh, I'm sorry, there we go, cost of up to $3 million a year. The king is expected to foot the bill as the Duke has no discernible regular income. In other words, he was living off of his mama. He was living off of his mama, and he ain't got no money. He had to sell that Swiss chalet and so on. So King Charles III is going to pay for it. Hi, Elaine Parker. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex and being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. So yeah, that scrub Andrew doesn't have any money, any discernible income of his own. Now, as I mentioned several times, on Ascension Day, there seems to have been a prepared press release, or what is it? Memorandum. What do they call it? A release from the palace saying that the Queen prefers or wishes or henceforth decrees that Camilla shall be known as the Queen Consort whenever Charles becomes king. Now, people speculated at that time not only did Charles and Camilla come over there with the pandemic oozing out of their pores, and the Queen was stricken, even though they claimed it was like an outbreak from within the Windsor Castle. The Queen was living in a virtual bubble. Everybody was tested, coming and going, except for one person, and that was, of course, her son and heir to the throne. I'm pretty sure, although I don't know it to be 100% factual, but I just have a hunch. I'm assuming, I'm alleging that perhaps he didn't get tested that day. I don't know. All I know is a few days later, he said that he was sick and Camilla was sick. And then we find out that the Queen is being watched closely, right? Now, that's all well and good. The Queen is being watched closely. And then, of course, there was never any mention in the press that Charles may have, you know. So they just simply said that there was an outbreak at the Windsor Castle. I still don't believe that. The Queen was stricken, and I think Charles, Charles, oh, excuse me, Charles, and I think that someone within her close circle may have been responsible. That's all. But also, the Ascension Day, let me get to that point. That was when the Queen said that, she wants Camilla to be known as the Queen Consort. Now, some people say in order to ensure that there was protection for this one, that Charles and the Queen had to come to some sort of arrangement. Now, whether it's written or just a handshake, with hands that may have been covered in cooties, but whether it was like a written thing or a handshake, we don't know. All we know is Charles, who never seemed to ever get along with his brother, is feeling obliged to make sure that he has proper protection, something that he would not even afford to his son, the real star of the family, Prince Harry. He wouldn't give Harry protection, but he's giving protection to Andrew, who he doesn't really get along with. So I think that says a lot right there. Whether there was some kind of agreement or promise or something like that, who knows? But then again, Charles didn't keep the promise of the Duke of Edinburgh title that was supposed to go to his other brother. But then again, maybe he didn't get the Queen sick that time. I don't know. Maybe the Queen didn't get sick that time. I don't know. Um, allegedly. Uh, maybe that's the only way to get him to keep a promise is to infect you. But if that is what happened, you have to have a visit and a near death experience to get any kind of agreement out of him, allegedly. But that's terrible. Um, am I being shady too soon? I'm just saying, I don't know what the arrangements are. It's none of my business. But if I was a betting person, which I'm not, I would say that that was probably the order of things. Andrew is lucky his brother is willing to pay for his security and living expenses. Yeah, um, lucky, and I do believe it was an arrangement. I do believe that. but I have no evidence or proof. But it just seems like something contrived and arranged in advance. If the Charles is paying for Andrew's security, is that still the taxpayers' money? Well, I'm going to talk about that later, but they say it's not. But it seems like wherever Charles gets money from, it's got to be taxpayer related. Otherwise, it has to come in a big shopping bag in unmarked bills. Cat Harlem says Harry mentioned their agreement in the docuseries. He said they agreed to never play the game when they had their houses. Uh, they saw Charles doing it to Diana. Oh, yes, to play the game. Yes. It was said that Harry and William said that they were not going. Oh, I understand. They weren't going to play the game, meaning briefing against one another through the press and using the press to inflict pain upon one another with their briefs and leaks and stuff. But yeah, they did mention that. Well, Harry did mention that in the docuseries. And apparently, William did not live up to the promise. William found himself in a corner, allegedly, because of his extramarital alleged relations, and that is where he decided allegedly to turn to the dark side, to conjure up the dark forces of the tabloids. So yeah, that would be playing the game, of course. Thank you so much, Cat Harlem, and thank you so much for being a member and watching Royal Sussex. Okay, so moving on from that one, just a bit of a subject change here before we get back into the royal family and the Sussexes and such. Take a look on the end table there. What do you see besides that ancient communication device? You also see one of those Ripple of Hope's Robert F. Kennedy Foundation Awards. Apparently, they have given one to the Speaker of the House. Or perhaps they haven't had a chance to give Zelensky his award, and maybe he's going to take that one with him. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure that that one belongs to Nancy Pelosi. But anyway, he will have that to take home with him. Very cool photo. As you can see, the Speaker of the House is not only wearing an American and Ukrainian pin on her lapel, she's also wearing one of the colors of Ukraine's flag. And yeah, so really cool photo. This will be one of the last big acts of the Speaker of the House before she passes the gavel over to McCarthy. McCarthy. So the new McCarthy era. So yeah, this is going to be one of her last big acts as the Speaker of the House. So that should be pretty cool. And I don't know, will they have a oh gosh, what is it? The State of the Union. I don't know if she gets to do that for the last time or if that will be McCarthy. But yeah, you guys, I hate to say it, but get used to seeing McCarthy sitting up there next to the vice president. Ugh, ugh, I can't take it. And then, of course, there was the arrival yesterday. There was a warm greeting from the President of the United States, Joe Biden. He received a flag which has flown over the United States Capitol. Anytime you see Congress present those flags to people, they actually fly the flag over the Capitol. Now, I wish I could say the flag had been up there for a day or a week. Pretty much, they raise them up, bring them back down, fold them, put them in a case, and give them to whomever. So if you ever get one of those from your congressman or your senator, it is legitimately a flag flown over the Capitol, but it may not have been there for a long time. But anyway, still an honor to receive one. And as you can see, he is very moved and honored. and Congress has their checkbook out. Cha-ching. He's going to walk away, I think, with $1.7 billion worth of arms agreed upon. But anyway, that's your government doing hard work for you. Kids Indoors says Elaine Parker. I'm sorry, that's not for me. Okay, I'm gonna go here, and very warm, moving photo. And again, McCarthy is coming next, so try to prepare yourselves for that one because he's coming. So he seems like a pretty nice guy, and I'm surprised he's lasted as long as he has. His rhetoric is not as malicious as most, and but he still has his constituents that he has to deal with. So I don't expect he's going to be very reasonable, but um, good luck, everybody. Good luck. We're going to need it. All right. And then here you can see what a difference a day makes or what a difference a president makes. This is Zelensky sitting with Donald Trump, not in Washington, but I think it had to have been someplace else, maybe Ukraine or wherever it was, maybe one of those summits or what have you. But I tell you, that look right there is worth a lot. As per usual, the Trumpster was throwing his weight around, and not everybody was pleased to see him. So, a lot of smoke and mirrors. So, again, very big difference between the warm greeting with Biden compared to. Okay. All right. So, moving back along, Harry and Meghan becomes the UK's most watched subscription TV series. Harry and Meghan becomes UK's most watched subscription TV series. Well, you can't say it enough, can you? So the docuseries Harry and Meghan is ruling the airways in terms of subscription series. As well, it should. And again, I'm so happy for this because people are hearing them speak for themselves. They're speaking in their own voice. You don't have to go through the filter of all that nonsense and speculation and just the cruel way that some of those writers do everything they can to tear them down just for the sake of it. So this is what we've been wanting. This is what we hope for, and the day is here. And over here, Harry and Meghan's Netflix show crowned UK's most watched subscription TV series. Wow. I'm sure they love reporting this. Harry and Meghan was most watched Netflix show in UK and Ireland after premiere. Wall Street Journal, very conservative paper. Did Murdoch buy them out? I think Murdoch bought them out, or some conservative group bought them out. But yeah, so even the Wall Street Journal, top 10 programs in the UK today, top 10 TV programs in the US today. So there you have it. The Sussexes finally have a voice. And even though there's this campaign of whatever hate or whatever they're doing, still, you have to celebrate the fact that Harry and Meghan finally are saying what needs to be said. And unlike the Oprah show or the Oprah interview, where you have to have recorded it and you can't share it or anything, people can go back and watch again and again. People can go back and fact check in real time. You don't have the conflict of interest, well, not the conflict of interest, but the copyright issues that you would have trying to share bits of the Oprah interview. Nobody has the entire interview that they could share with people unless you do it through a personal way. But, I can't share any parts of it. So that's the other great thing about this is that people can just go back at any time as a permanent record and find out whatever, fact check on their own. Did they say this or did they say that? No issue with that. Okay, now the king rejects cut price coronation in favor of glorious pomp and pageantry. Who wrote this? Rip Taylor? Monarch wants to use ceremony to showcase UK, what is that, PLC internationally? Well, anyway, UK, what is PLC? Despite being deeply conscious of the cost of living crisis. And then, of course, let us think about it like this: royalty, a strange faith based superstition that one has the birthright to rule over nations of people, own all the land, and, of course, they dwell upon and steal their earnings under the guise of taxation. Nice work if you can get it, right? Oh, it is the Murdoch family. Murdoch, sadly, that man has too much power and has ruined media in Australia, UK, and US. That's true, Pam Porter. Even the other networks, even if they haven't become, part, or should I say, under the umbrella of the News Corp, the problem is that they react. They have become more conservative as a reaction of the News Corp. So it's like News Corp in all but name only. So, like for instance, CNN, they're taking this big walk toward the conservative side of things. CNN has already done things in the past, like the colors that CNN used for their branding became very red. Their television studios turned very red in response to Fox News. And now they have just decided, listen, we're going to do a complete purge of anyone who may be considered, for lack of a better word, woke. Uh, so, yeah. And then here, coronation for the cost of living crisis, as King expresses wish for good value. The event will be very different to the service his mother's of his mother service for his mother 7 decades ago, reflecting his vision for a smaller, more modern monarchy. If I hear slim down monarchy one more time, I am going to barf. I am going to upchuck. I shall be the victim of projectile vomiting. I don't want to hear slim down monarchy ever again. I'm sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick! I'm sick of it. Slim down monarchy. As if that is just a catchphrase. If anything, they have been costing people, or the taxpayers rather, they have cost them more money. There's nothing, it's just words. It's not even in practice happening. They're just using words. There's nothing about the monarchy that is slimmed down. Everything costs more. Um, and for them to use that propaganda is such a bunch of hooey. It is not slimmed down. Okay, so I noticed that Charlotte is here. Hi, Charlotte. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, and then of course the king rejects cut price coronation in favor of glorious pomp and pageantry. Let me see. Monarch wants to use ceremony to showcase UK. Didn't I just read that somewhere? Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. Same thing. Never mind, you guys. I thought somebody had roofied me. I'm like, wait a minute, where did that come from? Mashar says Ukraine is older than Russia, which has always tried to conquer them. 4 centuries, they have always lost. Ukrainians fight for their country like the U.S. fought against the British and won. U.S. help them win. Yeah, I have no doubt the Russians. I don't know exactly. Well, if they didn't do it in those first few weeks, then they won't be able to do it. They're going to make life very difficult, but that they can't take the land back home with them. The land will be there, and they're embarrassed. And whatever midlife crisis that Putin is going through is just a waste of everybody's time. And we are loaning, um, these weapons to Ukraine. I'm not going to make any money, and no other Americans that are working class is going to reap any benefit from it. Yes, the rich people that sell the stuff are the ones that's going to make the money, but I mean, there are people in the defense industry or whatever that are paid salaries, but essentially, though, it's going to enrich people that are already very rich. So it's not like the United States is just giving stuff away. They will get money back for it. Trust me, they always do. How do you think the U.S. got so rich after World War II? Okay, and here's a little slice of pageantry. The Saxe-Coburg-Gothas erased our heritage and replaced it with the gilded vulgarity of tasteless wealth, meaning that the English weren't always so extravagant. It was the Hanoverians that were the big spenders. It was the Hanoverians that brought in the Regency, the Regent period of art and culture and commerce. And so, since the Hanoverians showed up, there has been nothing but an exuberance of wealth, pomp, and pageantry, which seems to be what people wanted for an empire. But as the Britain is no longer the great empire that it was, it just doesn't seem like this is suitable at a time when there is so much austerity in food banks and, of course, cost of living hikes. There's no place for this type of pageantry. However, there are the older people who still want to believe that somehow that the old days are coming back and that this is a way to celebrate the times of the past, which is pretty much where they belong, is in the past. So, anyway, I'm gonna watch. I told you guys I'm gonna watch. Um, I I've always wanted to see a coronation. Now, what's different is I doubt if I will go, but I do want to watch. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we were talking about where the money comes from. Now, I have studied and studied this again and again. Now, take a look on the left. You have the Crown Estate makes the money, and then the money is paid into the Treasury, right? And then Treasury calculates it, and 15 to 25% goes back into the sovereign grant, which is paid to the crown, which owns the crown estate, which makes the money. Woo! Okay. Now, let me try to do this one more time. The crown estate makes the money, and then that money is paid to the treasury, and then the treasury calculates that money for 15 to 25%, and then they send that money to the sovereign grant, uh, and it's paid to the crown. And then the crown owns the crown estate, which is making the money, which is paid to the treasury, which is calculated and then is paid to the crown. Get it? I hope so, because it doesn't make a lick of sense to me. But maybe if I say it faster. The crown estate makes the money is paid to the treasury calculates it 15 to 25%, and then that 15 to 25% goes to the sovereign grant, which is paid to the crown, which owns the crown estate, which makes the money that is paid to the treasury. Dinner's ready. Okay. So then let's take a look at the one on the right. So the one on the left, that was made during the Queen's time, and that's when I first studied it, and I still didn't get it. So over here on the right, Charles gets paid, right? And Charles owns the Crown Estate, which makes the money, which is paid into the Treasury, which is calculated at 20. What happened to the 15? Huh. That's interesting. They dropped to 15. Okay, which is calculated, and that is paid into the sovereign grant, which is paid to the sovereign who owns the Crown Estate, who makes the money, and then the profits, the profits of the money is paid to the Treasury. And then the Treasury calculates that at only 25%. There is no 15% anymore. And then that 25% goes to the sovereign grant, which is paid to the Crown, which of course is Charles, is the Crown, and it goes to the Crown Estate. And then the Crown Estate makes the money, and the profits go. Woo! Okay, now that is the con. Here's the truth. The truth is the Treasury collects the taxes, which is paid to. I'm not making these up. I got these off the interweb, so you know it's got to be right. Which is the Treasury gathers the money from the working class and poor, and then that money goes into the sovereign grant, which is paid to the Crown, which of course is the king. End of the line. Everybody off. End of the line. This train is not making any more stops. We have we have reached the end of our broadcast day. So that's it. That's where the money goes. Okay, so Shelley L says smaller and more modern monarchy, unless they're planning on having the coronation in the back room of the Outback State House. They need to stay home and just do it in front of the gold piano. My sentiments exactly. Thank you, Shelley L, and thank you so much for the comment, and also thank you for the super chat, and thank you ever so much for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, now from the Crown Estate website, it is managed by an independent organization established by statute here, headed by the board, also known as the Crown Estate Commissioners, and the surplus revenue from the estate is paid each year to the Treasury for the benefit of the nation's finances. What? Huh? What? Wait, what? Okay. From the Crown Estate's website, it is managed by an independent organization established by the statute, headed by the board, also known as the Crown Estate Commissioners, and the surplus revenue from the estate is paid each year to the Treasury for the benefit of the nation's finances. Do what? If that ain't some BS, if I ain't never heard it before, that is a bunch of BS. Tesha Hudson, oh, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Now, Tess, I'm going to take this super sticker, and first I am going to add it to the profits, right? And then I'm going to pay it to my treasury, and then I'm going to calculate it at 25% because we ain't doing 15 no more. And then I'm going to take that 25% and I'm going to pay it to the sovereign grant, which of course is paid to the Crown, which is myself. And then of course that is going to go back into the Crown Estate where it's going to make more money. And then I'm going to take the profits from this super sticker and I'm going to stick this super sticker. Woo! Oh man. And that's what I'm going to do with it. So thank you so much for the super sticker. I know exactly what to do with it. And that's it. Don't you love it? I mean, I couldn't have made this up, could I? Let me see here. Joyce Bo says, oh, that's for someone else. Oh, you like my math, Mary H? I mean, it's not my math, it's the Crown Estate math. It's math made easy. You take in the numbers and you give nothing back. Baron, my 15-year-old grandchild said you need to be her history teacher. You're good. Oh, thank you, Dorcas Baker. And hello, grandchild. Glad you're watching Royal Sussex. So I'm going to take that compliment, right? And I'm going to take the profits from that compliment and I'm going to pay it to the treasury. And then I'm going to calculate it at 100%. And then I'm going to slip it into the sovereign grant where I'm going to pay it to the crown, which of course is Charles now, which also owns the crown estate. And then I'll take the profits from that compliment and do it all over again until my head starts spinning. Thank you so much for the comments. And let's see here. 1960 says, yes, if they did it at home and televised it, we are talking about the coronation, right? I don't want to see Charles and Camilla. Okay. Okay. So if they did it at home and televised it, although that would be interesting, they could save millions and donate all that money to charity. Their homes are enormous, and a really beautiful coronation could happen on royal grounds. That is true. That is so true. Thank you, 1960. Now, that, of course, would ensure the survival of the sovereignty forever. For years, as David Starkey would say, for years. Okay. Oh, that's not for me. All the Botox in the world can't remove silly chicken. They have this stuff that you use on your apartment walls when you move out. It's called spackle. You know how sometimes you hang a photo and you break the plaster? Or let's say you have a chair and the room doesn't have the chair rails. So you back the chair up into the wall and the plaster begins to crumble. Well, they have something called spackle, where you take the spackle and you put it on a spatula and then you smooth it into the cracks and crevices, right? But you have to let it cure. Although I'm not sure there's a cure for this, but you have to you have to let it cure, right? And once it's solid, then you're okay to paint over it with any type of makeup or whatever pigments you can find. And but you want to layer it properly so you don't see any. Anyway, um I think that went better than my example of the crown estate. Okay, so here's another way to look at it. Them that's got shall get, and them that's not are probably under the floor trying to burst through. Or you can look at it like a pyramid scheme. At the top, you have the notion of capitalism or the capital, the money. And then beneath that, you have, what does that say? The rulers. Of course, that would mean the king or the president or whatever. And then beneath that, we fool you. Okay? Capitalism, we rule you and then we fool you. And so, of course, not to you know, point out any particular church or religion, but it's implied by this pyramid that the religion may fool you. Well, as we know, back in the old days, that's the way things were, but churches are more independent now. And then, of course, we shoot you. That's right. We shoot you. And then beneath that, there is a big banquet table set up so that we can feed you, or should we say, we eat for you. So we take the money and then we rule you, we fool you, we shoot you, and then we eat for you. And then beneath that, all the crumbs that are left, all the leftovers, all the unwanted, all of the crusty breads and the molded, but that's enough about the queen consort. But we take all of that and we feed it to the peasants. So that is the period of capitalism system, capitalist system, as it is explained in this old graphic from whenever. But yeah, so that's how that works. So, any questions? I gotta wait 60 seconds. Any questions? I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna wait 60 seconds. But yeah, so I hope all of that makes sense to you. This is all, of course, just someone's hypotheses. Did I just say a big word? But this is just someone's notion of how this works. So, all right, moving on. Okay, and then there was this. I showed you this the other day. Let's say that is Charles III. I look down on him, but I need this newspaper to prop up the institution of monarchy. And then let's say that's Rupert Murdoch, although I don't see enough dimples in the chin. Um, I look up to him because the monarchy popularizes the subjugation. Oh, that's a big word. Of the working class by a few wealthy individuals like me. Okay. And then there's the lowly paper boy, the peasant, the working class person that says, I think Meghan brainwashed Harry. Now, I don't know who put this on Twitter, but that is so clever. In spite of everything that's going on with the two on the left, you have this one little ignorant peasant person who, no matter what happens, the only thing they could think of is that Meghan has somehow brainwashed or fooled or tricked Harry into her position. So I love this. I think it's real clever. Okay, but this is the actual um, skit that is was taken from. You might recognize John Cleese on the left side. I don't know who the others are, but pretty much it's the same conversation, except it doesn't mention Meghan, who wasn't born yet. I don't even know if Doria was born yet, but it's that's where they got this from, and so someone made this out of it. And thank you to the squatty who pointed that out that it came from because I never saw this before, but it's on the community tab. So if you guys want to see it, you can go to the community tab and watch it, and you can see it for yourself. And then there, of course, is Tony Benn, who says, I don't think people realize how the establishment became established. It simply stole the land and property of poor people, surrounded themselves with weak minded sycophants for protection, gave themselves titles, and have been wielding power ever since. Well, that's it in a nutshell. That describes the aristocracy as we know it. Now, um, I have to say again, just because the situation is a movement toward dumping the sovereign all over the Commonwealth, you know, everybody wants to get rid of the crown, right? However, well, not everyone, but most of the Commonwealth countries, the younger people are like, why do we need this? Right? Well, the thing is, there will always be the royal family. The French have a royal family, but they have no power. And the French even made the bold move to recognize some of those ancient titles, right? But you have no power. You are registered as a member of said, you know, duchy or whatever, but you have no power. And so that means these people, you know, will forever be members of those clans or parties or whatever or families, and that eventually that is what's going to happen to the British royal family is that that whole little shell game that they do with the sovereign grant at some point that's going to end. That's not sustainable. It can't last forever. There's no reason for it. And I, you know what, you guys, I still got a lot more to share with you. Let me see where I'm at. I'm on slide 21. Yeah, let's keep it moving here. And so someone mentioned gold piano earlier. Well, there it is. There is the gilded gold piano. Now, the Queen actually gave a Christmas speech where she urged people to prepare to tighten their belts up, to prepare themselves for austerity, more or less, and that hard times are coming and that sacrifice would be necessary. And this just goes to show you what the true meaning of tone deaf. Now, the Queen didn't see anything wrong with this because this is where she comes from. This is how she was raised. So I don't blame her for this as much as I blame the institution. I'm just going to separate her from this because if any of us was in that position, how would we know any different? This is, it's heavy to be 25 years old and told that you were ordained by God and so on and so forth. So, but the entire institution has a problem if they think this is okay. If nobody took someone aside and said, how did you let that happen? Or do you realize how ridiculous this looks? Now, to be fair, up until this point, most people had nothing to say about it. But it was someone younger who pointed out that this is the very height of hypocrisy to talk sacrifice in front of a gold piano in this very gilded chamber of one of the state apartments in Buckingham Palace. So it's just like shooting yourself in the foot. But the Queen has never known in her lifetime a moment when something like this was ever truly threatened. And so, year after year, from one gilded room to the next, she gave her Queen's speech. So, again, I'm not going to blame her for it. That's the life she knows or known, and that's all to it. But the courtiers are not doing them a favor. It's a disservice for them to maintain this extravagance. Now, Charles said that he was never going to move into Buckingham Palace, which I think makes a lot of sense. Moving into Buckingham Palace, yet another residence, would be a big mistake. Open it up to the public, make it useful to the community. Nobody lives like this anymore, and no one should, except the British royal family and a few other, you know, sovereignties around the world or monarchies around the world. Nobody really lives like this. The president of the United States doesn't live like this. So there you go. And then there's this: when there is a coronation, if you remember these people from the Queen's funeral, a few of them were arrested for holding up blank pieces of paper, but they were arrested. So I wonder if they're going to do this again for the coronation. I wonder. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But the guy with the "Not My King" sign, the guy that's kind of in the middle of the left photo, he was the one that was interviewed on television, and I think he's a barrister. And he says, "Hey, I love England, but I don't like this system." And aside from the lady in pink and a couple of other people, like the guy with the white hair, they're mostly young people that were protesting, but there were a few older people that were just like, you know what, not my king. And of course, they can expect this. I'm not propagating this. I'm just reminding you that there is something incredible that is going to happen on May 6, 2023. And if you guys haven't figured it out yet, I'm going to tell you right now. This guy in the yellow shirt with the bulging biceps and triceps and every other sep is going to be there with his faded whiskers and his piercing gaze. He is going to be there protesting and wearing the tightest t-shirt you've ever seen. So, like I said, some amazing things. Some amazing things are going to happen. So if you think it's just going to be a bunch of pomp and circumstances, there's also going to be energy drinks, there's going to be protein powders, and there's going to be tight yellow t-shirts. So I'm going to watch. Like I said, I'm going to watch. Soup's on. Sean has a super chat. Just finished binge watching their cartoon. Laughing so hard, my back is hurting. I don't understand why Dr. Shola had uh, what Dr. Shola had with this. Is about the little extra. George is growing to be a snob. Well, I mean, Sean is just a Dr. Scholler, and a lot of people were saying that the cartoon about George, or is it, yeah, George, they were saying that that cartoon might cause him, some damage psychologically or whatever, because, with him being a kid and having to go to school and such. I mean, you just don't want to reference a child as a character like that. I thought it was pretty harmless, but I also get what Dr. Shola and a lot of other people were saying, which is why HBO has discontinued it, and that's the end of it for now. Plus, Philip was sick, and I think Philip had just died right before it premiered, and then that became a problem. So but yeah, I loved it. And you know what? I may have to go back and watch it again. But thank you so much, Sean, for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. This 91-year-old is not impressed by the royal family and says Charles, King Charles, that is, should have slated Jeremy Clarkson for his comments about Meghan Markle. I think it's outrageous and that the palace has just stood aside. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you if I can. It may buffer. Let me see if I can close a couple of things and maybe it won't. But he is, Blanche. He's already gone. I know. As I say with my Betty Davis voice, but he is, Blanche. He's already gone. Yes, I know. He better. Yeah, I get it. Thank you again, Sean. I think. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Now, you're not talking about Philip. I got you. All right. So let me try to get this going so I can share this audio with you. Oh boy, I knew I had a lot to cover today, but I did. Yeah. Okay. Hold on, you guys. Let me try to get this going. Hopefully, the sound will stay.
91 years of age, so I can remember the last coronation.
Yeah. And what did you do for that, Joe?
Now, I tell you what happened then.
Okay.
We were united. We loved the old queen because she stayed in Buckingham Palace with during the war. So we really felt together. As regards this coronation, the crown should pay for it. And not only that, I'd be far, far more impressed if King Charles really slated Jeremy Clarkson for what he did to his daughter-in-law. I think it's outrageous that the palace has just stood aside. How can we be impressed and feel that, he's showing the right sort of quality? The present monarchy knows where people are sleeping on the streets, going to the food banks. They cannot say that they do not know what's going on here. And so I think it's outrageous. I think a lot of people now will be struggling. And how dare Ricky turn around and say that it's going to be glorious and all this, that, and t'other. People are struggling. I work with a food bank and the homeless and things like that. So at the moment, I'm not impressed because what they should have done, Charles should immediately have slated Jeremy Clarkson for saying such vile things about his daughter-in-law. I would never have stood for that. And I think most men and women parents would never have stood for that. How dare they stand aside? So as regards, all the pomp and so forth and so on, It's beautiful, it's lovely, and all that sort of thing. I'm English to the core. But we have a cruel regime, in Tudor times, and, the same sort of cruelty is going on now.
And
I'm not impressed.
And Joan, just you remember the first coronation? Do you remember that fondly?
Oh, yeah, because we were together. The old queen had stayed, she said, now I can look the EastEnders in the eye, as you tiptoed through the rubble. We were united, we felt good, we felt together, and, all that sort of thing. But as regards this, it's a sheer mockery to what the coronation, until that man turns around and says to Jeremy Clarkson, you're vile, really goes for him. Because I think what a lot of people will do now is turn towards Harry and Meghan. And also a Duchess Michael, I think it was, actually wore a brooch with a little slave girl, black slave girl. There. How dare they?
Joan.
How dare they?
Joan in Messiness.
Okay. So, as you can hear, the caller, Joan, I think her name, she said, I am English to the core, but I think that Charles should have slated Jeremy Clarkson. And she mentioned, she called her Duchess Michael, but it's Princess Michael of Kent wore the slave girl pin. And she mentioned, she said that it was outrageous. And she also mentioned that that it's going to make people turn toward the Sussexes, not turn away from them, but turn to them and support them. It's going to rally support for them that this Jeremy Clarkson has, said these very cruel things. And, but yeah, so 91 years old, she's seen a coronation before in her lifetime and likely will see another. And she's not impressed at all by the way that Charles is carrying on. So, very sweet lady, and a lot of the Swatties have been sharing that on the Twitter and social media. So very cool. All right, you guys, I'm gonna keep moving on here. So trending, at least this was yesterday, Clarkson. Camilla consort with abusers, and Camilla Parker Bowles is a bully. So, like I said yesterday, and I've been saying it for days, Camilla has truly exposed herself as being the likely person who may have asked about little Archie's skin color. I was convinced that it was actually William, and I still believe it was William. And I believe it could have actually have been both of them. Although I still lean toward William, because who else but a sibling rather, would know how to push your buttons and to cause or inflict as much pain as possible than a sibling, a jealous, cruel, mean sibling. That is usually something that they would do. So that's where I'm leaning. Yes, Reba Henderson, sharp as attack. Sharp as attack. And it's really nice that there are so many people that you can tell they're like well advanced in their age, but yet wrong is wrong, and that's all to it. And they call them out for it. Let's see. Love you, Baron. Thanks for always being you and honest with the facts, true facts. Oh, thank you, Amabello. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see here. The testicular fortitude. Camilla, did you hear what she just said? She just said I had the testicular fortitude. Camilla. Whatever fortitude is. Oh, man. Hello, Mary. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. All right. So she stands with abusers because she is an abuser. And I still have my beliefs about the way Princess Diana was treated, that she stands with abusers because she herself is a bully and an abuser. No other way to put it. Camilla has, just like Charles, have had privilege and free reign to live life to the fullest. And as far as we know, has never really had to pay the price for it, has never really had to make amends for it, has never apologized for it. There was never an apology for Diana. She and Charles are so entrenched in their privilege and their right to exist as a couple. And let me just remind you guys, I know I don't need to, but let me just remind you, an admitted adulterer, Charles III, will be crowned, will go through his coronation, will be crowned. And he, of course, as we speak, is the head of the military, the head of the courts, the head of the church. Everything is done in his name. Charles no longer needs a driver's license. His mother never had a driver's license because it was considered redundant as it was issued in the Queen's name. So now Charles no longer needs a driver's license because it's his royal this and royal that. His cipher will go on street lamps and mailboxes and all over the place because it's his government. The government is formed in his name. He's the sovereign. He cannot be called to witness. He cannot be accused. He can kill and never go to jail for it. He can do whatever he wants to because he's the king. And of course, that same adulterer is going to take this adulteress and put her on the throne right next to him. They are going to rule as king and queen consort. And that's that. And everybody is supposed to be okay with it. Everybody's okay with it. And then there's that very sinister little detail that he could never lawfully have been crowned king if he had remarried as head of the church, because a divorced king should not sit on the throne. Well, he did divorce, right? He did divorce. And of course, he don't have to worry about that little thing about having another, person who could have claimed the throne because she's gone conveniently, right? There's no Diana who could have ever made a claim. That was taken care of a long time ago. So now it's all legal and it's okay. And it's just very weird. It's going to be interesting watching them take those sacred oaths, or whatever they call it. They're going to take their oath at the Westminster Abbey, one of the most sacred places on that astrological floor of the church. The two adulterers, head of the church. Okay. And then there's this little detail. This is what we're working with today. It is snowing, and it started at noon. It's been going about 3 hours now. Looks beautiful outside, but I have everything I need, so I'm not planning to go anywhere. And I hope you guys will stay safe too. These 5 billionaires own 80% of the UK media. Their influence on elections is huge, yet they and their companies are registered abroad. They pay no UK tax, and that's how they want it to stay, which is why they back the Tories. You got Richard Desmond, Jonathan Harmsworth, David Barkley, Fred Barkley, and Rupert Murdoch. Now, this was from like 2015. I don't know how accurate this is, but I just came across it yesterday, and I don't know who's still there except for Lord Nappyhead, Jonathan, and Rupert Murdoch. The other ones, I don't know them. I've never heard of them before. But anyway, these 5 billionaires, of course, own 80% of the UK media. Now that percentage may have changed. I don't know if anybody died off, but that's the way it was at the time when this was created. And I just found, excuse me, the graphic there. I found that, and then I searched the web and I found the actual. I guess it's like a news page that produced it. So anyway, I'm going to share it with you as I found it. I don't know. Admittedly, I don't know how accurate it is to today's numbers, but corporations have run our government. There are 5 billionaires who run our media, and they have huge power. Let's see. Power in our democracy, forcing our political parties and to prioritize their wishes over the wishes of the British public. These 5 people not only own 80% of the newspapers we read every day, they also own TV stations, press agencies, book companies, cinemas. So everything we think or speak in Britain is nearly controlled entirely by these 5 men. The following are the 5 men in control. Okay. All right. So you have Richard Desmond, owner of the Daily Star, Sunday Star, Daily and Sunday Express. And in 2016, Sunday Times Rich List reported his net worth at 2.25 billion, making him the 48th richest person in Britain. Jonathan Harmsworth, fourth Viscount Rothermere, owner of the Daily Mail, the Mail on Sunday, and the Metro. Oh, he owns the Metro too? Really? I had no idea. Does he still own the Metro? In April 2015, the Sunday Times estimated his net worth at $1 billion. He currently resides in France. And let's see, Sir David Rowat Barclay and Sir Frederick Hugh Barclay, owner of the Telegraph and the Spectator and the Business, the Sunday Times Rich List of 2015 estimate their worth at 6.5 billion, who lives in private island near Sark, lives on a private island near Sark. And Rupert Murdoch, owner of The Sun, The Times, Sky, Fox, and many others, estimated wealth of 13 billion, who lives in Australia, where the real power lies. So these are as of 2015, I believe. And then, of course, where the real power lies, the power to decide who is elected as government in country lies in the hands of these 5 billionaires, who between them own 80% of the media. What is that? Whatever, Desmond, Harmsworth, Murdoch, and the Barclay brothers control what you read, see, hear, and the narrow range of topics which make it into the newspapers. And of course, they all back the party of billionaires, the Conservatives. In spite of wielding this amount of power in the UK, none of them pay taxes, and their newspapers are registered to tax havens. And that's the way they want it to stay. They ignore the climate crisis, back fracking, and bully politicians to do their bidding. They maintain an unjust hold on the world. They stir up fear and hate. Also, that we all blame one another than those truly responsible. We need to free democratic press, one that serves the 99%, not the 1%, recognizing that it is essential for the creation of a Britain with true social, political, and ecological justice, a free press that continues to hold those in power to account. Time to take back control. So that is what I found on the interweb. Trigger warning, there's that monster. Some people in the park think it's all over, right? Well, that was because of the heat wave. But the true caption is Britain's race revolution. Landmark report says UK is a model to the world on diversity and finds no evidence of institutional racism. Now, when that first came out, this is actually from what, 2021 or is it 2020? When this first came out, I think a lot of people had a pretty big laugh about that because, as you know, most of the Western industrialized world is going through a period of racism that most people thought was behind us, but what's old is new. And racism has, take President Trump. He's the lightning rod for racism, but he certainly didn't start it. He was just the poster child for the maybe 6 years of running for president and being in office. He was the poster child for racism. Um, but there's so many others. And the misogyny, the racism, and of course, the most disturbing, I think, is this idea of going after women of color. I don't know why that is such a theme with these people that they want to go after a woman of color, but is as though they just can't seem to help themselves. They have this fascination, attraction, or something, but it's something about going after women of color that seems to it's a love hate, turn off, turn on, whatever you want to call it, but it seems to be a thing that they have to go after women of color and then work their way out from there. Black women in particular, should I say. Okay, and then here you have the Jeremy Clarkson casually using the N word. I don't know if you guys have ever heard it, but if it is a word he loathes, why did he slip so easily? Why did it, should I say, slip so easily out of his mouth? You know who he also hates? Meghan. On every cellular level, similar, her name seems to come out of his mouth too. Just a little food for thought. Well, okay, so I am going to let you guys hear this. You won't really hear the N word because he mutters it under his breath, and I guess in an attempt to be clever or something. But it's very ridiculous either way. But okay.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. When he squeals, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. When he squeals, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. When he squeals, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
And he still has a job. He shouldn't have never worked again from that moment on. And he still didn't lose that job because of that. The only reason he lost his job was because he punched a producer in the face. That's how he lost that job. But still, he is quite wealthy, all things considered. He is still quite wealthy. He is still favored on television. So, as much as I say again and again, oh, you guys, it's not everybody. Oh, just some people are that way. Not everybody is racist. It's only some people in the UK. He seems to be awfully popular on television in the UK, in the US, in Australia, or just about any place that the shows are shown, because I think that a lot of people I have heard things like, oh, he's just a satire or whatever, satirical, and he's a writer, he's a provocateur, and that's what he does. Um, and so they downplay it to the point where before you know it, he's got another job. Now, everybody knows what eeny, meeny, miny, mo meant. But he did it. And he wasn't writing. He was just doing an auto show. I don't forget what the show was about, but it was about They would do card challenges. It wasn't him writing, it was just him talking. And if he talks like that, and we know how he writes, well, that's not something that is unusual for him. That's not him just being a provocateur. That is just him being himself. That is his core, is that he's racist. Oh, you mean the Kung Fu cow that kicked him in the fun parts? Yeah. That cow deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. All right. And then, of course, there was the dreadful thing about the black dog, just like Princess Michael of Kent, who named her black sheep Venus and Serena. He named his black dog for this footballer, whose name I have never been able to pronounce, but he named his black dog. How much more does he have to do before he's unemployable? And then, you guys, this picture is why the monarchy is on life support, and it has absolutely nothing to do with Meghan. I'm sorry, with Harry and Meghan. What about this picture is appalling to young people? What is this? What about this is appalling to young people? Well, okay, not to do the ageism, but they're old. They're so out of touch. And it's something about those white gloves that make me cringe. This is a real throwback, a relic of the past. There's nothing modern about this. And then, to me, they kind of look like they're in some kind of street gang, the Grey Panthers. They look like some subversive group that are apolitical. Well, no, they seem like a bunch of anarchists, if you ask me. They seem like, or maybe they're like an elderly rap group, Old Bones, Don't Hug, and Lack of Racial Harmony. Instead of Bones, Thug, and Harmony, is Old Bones, Don't Hug, and Lack of Racial Harmony. So they give new meaning to the term tough old broad. And they do. They just look like a bunch of old pieces of like rawhide, tough old broads. And of course, look at the one. Look at the one that's kind of is doing that thing with her mouth. I mean, okay, you got Old Bones, right? You got Don't Hug and Lack of Harmony. Bones, Thugs, and Harmony. But the one on the left side, that's my favorite. Fortune Fitzroy. That's her name, Fortune Fitzroy. I mean to tell you, they all look like they just got out of a women's prison, don't they? Do you see women's prison written all over their face? I mean, actually, they seem like they just got out of a men's prison. And for years, they've managed to stay incarcerated and nobody knew the difference. That's what I'm getting out of these. Rough looking customers. I mean to tell you that if this is every mean old lady that yelled, "Get off of my grass," or "I'm calling the police," it would be very difficult for young people to relate to this. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grey Panthers. I'm surprised that none of them have their fist up in the air. I mean, what would you do if they came if they walked around to your place and like rang the doorbell? What would you do? I mean, I would panic. If I saw these old ladies on my front porch, you know what I would do?
Police! Police! Help! Police! Help! Police! Help! Help! Police! Help!
Yeah, if I saw these old ladies on my front porch, I don't care what they're selling, I'm calling the police. I am calling the police, especially the one on the left That one looks like the one who who keeps that keeps the Glock in her purse. That the one on the left looked like she keeps the Glock in her purse. I mean, it just looks like a typical clutch, but it's actually her Glock holder. And then here's Camilla and Fortune and Susan when they were younger. I mean, they weren't always old. This is a picture of them when they were younger. And then also here's a picture of them, you know, trying to decide whether or not to watch The Crown. Oh, I'm sorry, not The Crown, but you know, in the early days of television. So, and then here's the three ladies trying to figure out what to order for dinner. I mean, they look at the menu, they didn't see anything they liked, so they decided to conjure up a meal. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air. Double, double toil and trouble. Fire burns and cauldron bubble. That is how they order lunch. As you can see, I haven't given this much thought. Why haven't the Royals condemned Jeremy Clarkson? Now that comes from the Toronto Star. And over here, Nigeria, Asika, 5 others write to condemn hate speech against the Duchess of Sussex. And who's at the center of this? Camilla. Camilla's friendship with Jeremy Clarkson is what gives a tepid amount of support to everything that has recently happened. Let me see here. Those 2 ladies look like they're sitting at home watching TV, drinking tea, and got kidnapped along with the old. Oh, let me see. They definitely don't want to be there. The one on the left side is the one that gets me, Fortune Fitzroy. That's the one that gets me, is Fortune Fitzroy. I don't know what it is about Fortune, but Fortune, she just, I don't know, she just seems like she's the one who decides who shall live and who shall die. My little pretty. And then, of course, Susan Hussey. Well, we already know what she's on. So let me see. What was that I just missed here? Oh, hold on. Wait, I got it. Lydia, you just gave me something and it slipped past me and I'm looking for it. Okay. Hold on. There it is. Okay. Oops. Okay, wait. And okay, I just pinned it to the thing. Okay, there you go. All right, got it. Okay, so Shelly L, listen to me. Susan L says, the lady on the left looked like she's thinking, this is some BS. Yeah, well, I can't say it, but this is some bull stuff. That is a BS face, isn't it? Oh man, I'm sorry, you guys. I should have waited for some comments, but I was just moving. I knew I had a lot to cover, so that's why I was going kind of fast. Like I said, if your chicken is slimy, has a foul smell, and has changed to yellow, green, or gray, or the gray color, there are signs that your chicken has gone bad. Toss it out right over the London Bridge. Oh man. Let me see. Hi, Betty. Betty says, hi, squatties. Late, but just like to say, Clarkson is comfortable saying whatever he likes about Black people because He knows he is protected. Hashtag Savile. Exactly. Let me see. Hey, Cookies and Cream. I didn't know you were here. Okay. Oh, Gracie Mpawabi says women's prison is an understatement. They look like they have been hurting for blood all day long. Oh man. I love the way that Fortune is leaning. She's leaning like, what's up? What's up? What's up? I love that lean. That lean is classic. Oh man. Bones, old bones, don't hug, and lack of harmony. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go back to here. Oh, not here. There we go. So again, Toronto Star and Prime Business, Nigeria. Okay, so those papers are asking. All right. Oh, Lord have mercy. What did I just do? All right. Did the royal family bless this deranged, violent fantasy against Meghan Markle? That's what Mother Jones wants to know. Mojo Wire is Mother Jones. Was it sanctioned? Well, I mean, there's no evidence that we know of. But again, since the palace has not come forward to say anything, I'm going to say it is a non-verbal approval, right? It is like by their silence, they are giving consent. And also it says there isn't any evidence at least to leads. What is that? Hold on. At least yet, that Camilla approved of Clarkson's attack in advance, but it's no small thing that the Queen Consort appeared to in two recent incidents of racism involving the royal family, who could fault anyone for taking her silence and the rest of the royal family's refusal to denounce Clarkson as tacit approval of something as vile as Clarkson's op-ed. Agreed. And of course, there's this curious thing. I wasn't even looking for this, but it just fell onto my Twitter. Does that sound weird at all? It fell on my Twitter. Okay. Camilla, Her True Story by Carolyn Graham. I didn't know that there was a book called Camilla, Her True Story. I Googled it, and yes, I wanted to vet it to make sure that it was true. Yes, there's a book called Camilla, Her True Story by Carolyn Graham. And as you know, Carolyn Graham is friends with not Otis the Wino, Thomas Markle. Why did I say Otis the Wino? With Thomas Markle. She's friends with Thomas Markle. This is a photo of her down in Mexico with Thomas Markle at his condominium overlooking the ocean. So, serendipity? I don't think so. I think they're very close. And then here, Dan Wooten, as a royalist, I hate to say it, but I'm beginning to doubt that Prince Charles has the capacity to become King Charles III without threatening the future of the British monarchy. Dan Wooten said that? Dan Wooten said this? Now, this is from June of 2022. This is at a time when people realized that the Queen was actually having fewer and fewer engagements. And he says this about Charles III. Of course, later on, he tried to clean it up. But yeah, he said that about Charles III. Ben shouts, Wooten. Benny James wants charity boxing match with Dan Wooten over Meg's bullying. Can you believe that? This athlete right here, this boxer, wants to have a charity match against Dan Wooten. I think he would be at a terrible disadvantage because I've seen Dan Wooten's profile. I've seen him walking and talking and such, and believe me, it could actually cause injury if you take your fist and start pushing it into something soft and fleshy and marshmallowy. I mean, can't you injure yourself punching a pillow, punching a vicious bowl of jello? I wouldn't recommend it, but what I love about this is that he's standing up for a woman. Benny James wants to fight journalist Dan Wooten in a charity boxing match over the cable news presenter's coverage of Meghan Markle. Political Light can exclusively reveal Benny, 28, says the charity boxing match with GB News political provocateur can raise some money for a royal backed mental health charity called Shout. I know, we know about Shout, but let's hope they cleaned up things. The social media star turned mental health political activist told Politicalite last night that Dan risked another Carolyn Flack over his alleged hatred and bullying of Meghan and laid down the gauntlet for Dan to battle him in a gladiatorial, how do you say that? Gladiatorial celebrity boxing match. The bout plans to raise money, the mental health charity that was launched by Prince Harry, Meghan, and Prince William and Catherine a few years ago. I love that they put Meghan and Harry first. And then, of course, Benny, 28, said Dan Wooten can help himself, but can't help himself, but continue to harass and bully women. The way he treated Carolyn Flack was just disgusting. And look what happened. She self-harmed. As it says, I can't say it out loud. He's now targeting Meghan with nonstop hate. I want to get him in that ring. He can't keep getting away with these disgusting comments toward women in the public eye. I know journalists have got to get the ratings in, but this guy, he's the same as Piers Morgan and Jeremy Clarkson. I love this guy. He also tweeted his mental health warning to Dan on Twitter and revealed the GB News presenter then blocked him. Dan Wooten blocked him. He also blocked me when I called him out. And so right here is the tweet. Would love to get that Dan Wooten in the boxing ring for charity. If he would have made any other appeal to Dan Wooten, like dinner or a movie, I'm pretty sure Dan Wooten would have been up for it. But anything that would risk injuring that marshmallow, I'm afraid he's not going to show up. I'm sorry. Here we are. Hen Pal says Dan Rotten Wooten. Let me see here. All the jobs are becoming obsolete. They are all that. And and let me see. Have a Merry Christmas, Baron and all Sussex supporters. Thank you so much, Hen Pal, and I do understand what you mean. Thank you so much for your comment, and also thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. So there you have it. He wants to get Dan Wooten in the boxing ring. Dan Wooten would probably have other ideas, no doubt, but I believe that Benny would just limit things to the boxing ring. So you guys remember Dan Wooten's quiet reflection, right? Dan Wooten is quietly reflecting. Lights, camera, Wooten. I made that myself. Lights, camera, Wooten. But yeah, so Dan Wooten, who has the consistency of a marshmallow, he would probably make short work of him. But I love that this guy is, me too, Mary H. I love that he's standing up for women, in particular, that he understands that they're, he probably watched the Meghan and Harry God, I hope so. I mean, I hope he felt that way before, but I'm thinking he must have watched Meghan and Harry. The best. Thank you so much, the best, for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And now, if you guys don't mind, I would like to remind you of the quiet reflection. Here we go.
Look, somebody drew a picture. Oh, that's sweet. How'd you guys do it? See there? Somebody drew a picture? No, but it's nice.
And walk. Okay, put the flowers down. Thank you, Morrison's. Okay, time for that period of quiet reflection you were talking about. Look as if you're surreptitiously trying to work out how to scale the railings. Okay, that's about 6 seconds. Turn and go. Great stuff.
Okay, you guys, it takes a village. Now, some of these captions were created by other people. Some of them I put together myself, and then I made this little film for your enjoyment of Dan Wooten's quiet reflecting. Some of y'all may remember that he got dragged for about a week for this because he made this big fuss about how he went down to Buckingham Palace to quietly reflect on the Queen's passing. They said that he didn't even pay for the flowers. There was someone who recognized him at the gates of Buckingham Palace and watched him allegedly walk over, pick up those flowers, and walk back and forth until he got it just right, even pausing to glance up at the Buckingham Palace. Oh, it was a real scream. So if you guys would like to see this again, you can just go to the videos menu. Is one of the anyways, it's one of the videos, not a live but a video, and you can find it there. But yeah, so that's Dan Wooten doing some of the worst acting I've ever seen as he quietly reflects about the Queen. Now, as you guys know, one of the royal rodents got caught out the other day because he used a burner account allegedly, and they created an alter ego for him Well, someone did the same thing with Dan Wooten. At first, I didn't recognize her, and I'm just like, who is that? Well, they used one of those apps and turned him into Daniela Wooten. Well, she looks nice though. She's pretty, Daniela Wooten. It kind of softens up that sinister gaze of his. And also, there it is, Richard Eaton. Richard was accused of having a burner account, so they came up with the name Maureen because that's the name that he allegedly used on his burner account. And so, Richard by day, Maureen by night. And of course, there's Maureen on one of those talk shows. Oh, man. And then, of course, someone had the nerves to go and try to turn. Oh, I don't. Is there anything you can do for her? Talk about women's prison. There's, of course, Jeremy Clarkson. And then on the right side there, you have someone trying to turn Camilla into a dude. So these are floating around the Twitter just for fun. I'm sharing those with you guys. But if you guys want to know what took me so long today, I'm going to show you. When I was trying to prep for the show, I've been up all morning, but then I started looking at this. A boy called Jerry, upbringing and early days of young Clarkson. That's from 2015, by the way, the article on the left. All of those is Jeremy Clarkson. I'm like, is there something in the water? Is there a chromosome or something that's out of place? This is Jeremy Clarkson. It looks more like Geraldine Clarkson, but this is Jeremy Clarkson. I'm like, what in the what? Yes, he's got an afro. He's got a pixie. He's got all kind of stuff going on. If you Google young Jeremy Clarkson, I promise you a bunch of photos are going to come up. And when I say come up, I don't mean like, fluid in the back of your throat, although I did feel that for a while. But these popped up. I'm just like, my goodness, when did she make the transition? I would have never guessed. It looked like, I know nowadays it's not unusual for people to transition, but did Jeremy transition too? Dear God, what happened? I bet you when they were a kid, they probably moved a lot. If you had something like this around the house, you'd have to move. I'm like, what in I got stuck. And when I looked up, I'm like, holy crap, I'm supposed to be on. But I was looking through these and I got stuck. I mean, I was so confused. And I'm just like, no, that's not Jeremy. That must be like an old picture of his mother. I'm like, oh, they got his mama's picture on here when she was a little girl. No, he was a little girl. It looks like the love child of, what's his name? Of Gomer Pyle and Miss Jane from the Beverly Hillbillies. What was the guy's name that played Gomer Pyle? Anyway, it looks like the love child of Gomer Pyle and Miss Jane from the Beverly Hillbillies. That's what I'm looking at. Golly. Golly. God's Child says, God's working. That sweet old lady is the age group section of my media cell for fear and lies to push hatred of Harry and Meghan and people of color, knowing most never go online, but rely and trust their newspapers, radio, plus something else, TV. Well, thank you, God's child. I think you're speaking of the phone caller. So Godchild may have actually started sooner. I mean, later on. And but anyway, thank you so much, God's child, for that super chat, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. But yeah, I think God's child may be a little further back in the. I have been on for a long time, you guys. But yeah, for your consideration, you guys, that is that little girl grew up to turn into a monster. That sweet looking, innocent little child is now a grotesque monster named Jeremy Clarkson. Can you believe it? I think what's her name said it best on yes, Jim Neighbors. Thank you. Jim Neighbors. And what was Anne Hathaway? Not Anne Hathaway, Jane Hathaway. What was her name? Jim Neighbors. Okay, so that's the godchild of Jim Neighbors. And what is Anne Hathaway's name? I mean, Jane Hathaway. Cope, Nancy Cope. That's it, Nancy Cope. It just come to me. So this is the love child of Jim Neighbors and Nancy Cope. The love child of Jim Neighbors and Nancy Cope. Woo! Woo! That's it. Jim Neighbors and Nancy Cope's love child. I know. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? You know what, guys, and I know you guys your eyes are going back and forth trying to understand what we're seeing. I don't know either. But your eyes are going back and forth trying to understand exactly what we're seeing. I don't know what to make of it. It's just it's just peculiar. Lydia, you know what, Lydia? I clicked on that link, and oh, okay. I'm sorry, I got it. I was gonna say it just goes to your channel, but okay, I got it. Okay, I promise you, I'm gonna check it out soon. Okay, but yes, that's ooh. Oh my God. Jim Neighbors and Nancy Cope. You'd be very disappointed with him, her, him. Oh, you guys, I'm not even done yet. I promise you, I am not even done yet. So there they are, partners in crime, perhaps. From left to right, that is Pierce Morgan, and there's Jeremy, 8th trimester Clarkson, and of course, ridden hard and hung up wet or damp or whatever. That's racism can be very ugly. But yeah, that's them right there. I mean, this will haunt your dreams, especially Jeremy Clarkson, because you don't know what's gonna happen. Is he giving birth? Is he on a surfboard? Is he emerging from the deep? You don't know what's going on. I know, Joan Commonwealther. Merry Christmas. That looks like the Grinch that ate Christmas. I know. That's a keg of beer. That is a keg of beer that you're looking at right there. Anyway, you guys, you know what? This is the performance of Tesla. The reason why what's his name is leaving Twitter, at least he said he's leaving, is because of this. Look at this performance. You know, it's just like I said about Brexit. If it ain't broke, break it. take something that works perfectly fine, like the European Union, and vote for Brexit and then ruin the economy for everyone. Well, that's what Elon Musk has done to Tesla. Tesla was doing very well until he decided to go messing around with Twitter. 45, what was it, 45, 44 billion dollars that he borrowed and leaned and whatever to buy Twitter. And look at what happened to Tesla. Almost $100 a share. So remember, if it ain't broke, leave it alone. If it ain't broke, don't break it. But in his case, if it works really well and it isn't broke, well, you know what I'm trying to say. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I'm trying to say. But he decided that he wanted to get involved in Twitter so he could try to help the Republicans and all that kind of stuff with all that old right wing stuff. And he, look at it, he just ruined it. Ruined it. So, and then today's Royal Sussex is, well, what I'm trying to say is, look who's made the cover of Irrelevant magazine. The Prince and Princess of Wales, the newly minted Princess and Princess of Wales, they have made it to the cover of Irrelevant magazine. So this magazine celebrates things that have become obsolete, like the old rotary bell telephone, or the Rolodex, or the horse and carriage, and of course, them. So big shout out to Stephen Black, who created this amazing caption along with many others. Like, for instance, this is another work of Stephen Black. The Windsor DNA testing. Unlock your secrets. If you got a secret and you don't know what it is, but everybody keeps telling you that it looks like you got a secret, then you just go and try the Windsor DNA testing to unlock your secrets, which is also a product of Cambridge Curl, the no-lie royal relaxer. Cambridge Curl. Get your curls that will make you feel like royalty. Cambridge Curls, the invisible contract special. Cambridge Curl, the no-lie royal relaxer. Okay, and with that, you guys, also, I think I heard Petal say something earlier about grabbing somebody by their wig. Now, I came in on the tail end of it, and I wasn't sure who she was talking about or referring to, but I hope it's not this nasty piece of work, because as much as I'm shocked by what's on top of her head, I definitely don't want to see what's up under that cap that she's got on. There's got to be something there must be something under that lid that is frightening and abominable. I don't know. But anyway, folks, this is Nana from the, what is that, GBN network. That's Nana, who is a Sussex hater. And she also loves to wear the biggest wig she can find. She goes for the mermaid hair, as if that look exists in nature, but she has gone for the mermaid hair. So that's Nana. Now, if Nana heard me talking, chances are she would roll her eyes. If she heard me talking right now, chances are she would roll her eyes at me. Now, I hope her eyes doesn't get stuck in that position, but she rolls her eyes sometimes. Every time she talks about Harry and Meghan, you know, she kind of talks like somebody, you know, who swallowed sandpaper and smoked unfiltered cigarettes. But Nana is, for whatever reason, obsessed with the Sussexes, and then she pretends like she's angry, like somebody is forcing her to talk about Harry and Meghan. And the more angry she becomes, the bigger her hair becomes. So, Nana, I couldn't clock that hairline. I'm just kidding. I can see where that hairline is. It doesn't exist. That's a wig cap. But yeah, so I heard someone mention wig earlier, and I thought, Nana? Nana? Which of course, if you guys are in the throes of passion, and let's say your partner is being a bit heavy-handed, remember, there is a safe word that you can use, something that will end arousal and prevent your partner from further causing injury. Something that is like, I don't know, thinking about something weird during intimacy. All you have to do is say Nana, and I'm pretty sure that is the number one safe word amongst a certain demographic. So yeah, so you don't have to say, "Oh, stop, please, you're hurting me." Just go, Nana. And your partner will cease and desist from further harm. So there's your safe word, Nana. Okay. So, and I heard her exclaim as she drove out of sight, "If you think this wig is big, wait until tonight." If you think this wig is big, wait until tonight. Nana. Let's see. Shelly L says she looks like the drunk lady down the hall who's wearing her emergency wig. The one on the hook by the door for when you have to go to the car. That one. You'd have to hang that hook up high because that is a lot of hair. I mean, that is like Rapunzel. That is Rapunzel right there. That is Rapunzel meets the mermaid. But thank you for that, Shelly L. As always, a pleasure. Ooh, I gotta put my wig on. I gotta run to the car. Hold on, let me put my wig on. Oh man. Well, you can't say she don't have a sense of humor because I would have to disagree with you. Oh, safe word is not working, Bear. I know instead of a safe word, it kind of sounds like you might get a beat down or something. Nana? Oh man. Anyway, I just when I did that screenshot, look at that. I had to do it over and over again, but I had to catch that eye roll. I just had to catch the eye roll. Watching silently these days. Love you, squatties, but this woman is scary. She looks like the witch doctor from Shaka Zulu. Woo! But Nazuri Makia, she actually has a very pleasant smile. That's the real sad part about this is that she has a really pleasant smile. When she's not menacing people, she actually has a very pleasant smile. I've seen her smile. But when she's on television trying to go after Harry and Meghan, it's like this whole look comes about that looks so like cruel and demonic. So, and it's like I said, when you have that kind of spirit, look at what it does to you. That's what that spirit does to you. So, what could I say? If they were nicer people, maybe their fortunes wouldn't have, gone south. But like, look at that little young girl right there. That little girl grew up into a beast. That little girl, we thought this sweet little girl with this Miss Jane Hathaway haircut would grow up and be a pleasant little child in a public school, right? But instead, she turned into this grotesque, an absolute grotesque. So that's what happens when you're cruel. And same for this one. I've seen some unguarded photos of what's his name, Elon Musk, that were a bit awful to look at. So Harry and Meghan. Oh, I hate that I have to talk about Harry and Meghan, but I have to talk about Harry and Meghan again. That's how she talks. Oh, here we go. We have to talk about Harry and Meghan. And I'm just like, I see her mouth moving, but that ain't her. Yes, it is. This is how I always talk. Yeah, I guess it is her. I know. Okay, well, let me find something a little more pleasant to close out the day. I think I have something that I think we're all in agreement about. Let me see if I can find it. You mean this one? Is that better? This one, right? Is that better? Wait, I got you. Give me a chance. Oh, there we go. There we go. Something for Christmas. Something to close it out for Christmas. There you go. I knew I had something. Let me see. What day was that one? 19, 18, 17. I think I need 17. There we go. Or this. All right. So, Merry Christmas, you guys. And thank you so much for being here on Royal Sussex. And I think I have a list from Sherry, perhaps. Wow, almost 2.5. Well, it's been over 2.5 hours, hasn't it? It's been over 2.5 hours. Thank you so much, you guys. Oh, how about Church Nellie at that hen party she went to? There you go. We'll close it out with that one for today. Let me grab my list. And of course, Church Nellie, if you're listening, as I said before, make sure you go back and get your flask. They're holding it for you. I hope they don't hold it near a stove or something like that. Okay, the list. Okay, so thank you so much for your donations today. Sharon, Carla, Hudson, Ayaya, thank you. And thank you, Elaine Parker, Kat Harlem. There's a 4 months membership for Kat Harlem. And thank you so much for the super stickers. Shelly L, thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Pomerose, thank you very much. And Connie Bomber, Tess Hudson, Sean, Hen Pal, and thank you, the best. Thank you, God's Child. Thank you, Shelly L again. And Nazuri Malkia, thank you also for the super chat. Well, thank you all very much. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And what else? Okay. Not this Church Nellie, but another Church Nellie. The wish list. Thank you so much, Lydia Washington. Thank you. I will post that. Let me see if I can grab that. Now, this, of course, is the Royal Sussex wish list. You're not obliged to get anything on that list, but if you do, that's groovy too. Let me see here. Okay, I will post that. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Lydia Washington. again, there's no obligation to purchase anything from the Royal Sussex wish list, but I do thank you all for the gifts I have received so far. I showed my aunt the duffel bag. I wasn't even expecting that. That wasn't even on the list, but oh my God, is that a gorgeous bag? Okay. Yes, thank you, mods. Pamela Porter, thank you for reminding me. Thank you, moderators. Yeah, I think we're good. All right, you guys. I think I am going to close it out with a Duchess. I'm sorry, Madam Duchess, and a Gingervange, amongst other things. And then, of course, I'm looking for a last word. Oh, thank you, Deborah Robinson. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy holidays to you. Peace on earth and good cheer. Yep. Thank you very much. Let me see here. Oh, thank you, Pam Porter. Thank you. I always try to make it fun, but yet informative whenever possible. Yeah, I knew I had a lot of stuff for today, and I'm just like, do I want to? Okay, I will. But oh, thank you, Misty Blue. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, nice. The t-shirt is gorgeous, isn't it? Okay. La, ah, ah, la, 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 la. I'm just in the mood. La, 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 la. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. Oh, man, I am in that mood. Let me see here. Okay, you guys, I think we're good. And here's our last word for the day. Catch old Clarkson by the, if he hollers, don't let go. Squeeze tighter. And twist them some more. Laverta August. Okay, I like your song. Eeny, meeny, mighty, mo. Catch old Clarkson by the, if he hollers, don't let go. Squeeze tighter. Twist them some more. Woo! I love it. I love it. Now that is a great last word of the day. And if you do it just right, you'll hear him go, ah, ah, ah. Yeah, if you do it just right, somebody's got to finish off where that cow started. But yeah, good looking out, Liberta. You always know just what to say. Oh man, now that was an epic last word. Oh man, and I had to look closely because I'm like, Lydia, but no, it's Liberta. I had to look close. I wasn't sure for a second there. But yeah, thank you for that. I think I'm gonna save that. I like that. I'm gonna have to keep that one. Well, you guys, I'm so glad everybody's in a good mood because it's been kind of a weird few days, and I know it's been tough because of all that stuff with the royal family and Clarkson and the rest of those monsters. But the good thing is that we have each other, which always makes it so much easier to get through this stuff. So that is the true value of the Sussex Squad. What a great community we have built, right? Right. Yes, I did see that. Thank you so much. But I had so much stuff today. I just could not squeeze anything else in. No pun intended. But I just couldn't I couldn't squeeze anything else in. for today. So maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay, you guys, thank you. Lovely time. Let's of course celebrate our queens. I got to do some new photos for them. I mean, I have more photos of Doria now that I could use, and I'll change the I'll put them together as someone has been telling me for the longest. But yes, thank you to our queens for those amazing kids. These kids right here, right? Thank you for those amazing kids. And with that, I am going to avenge us out of here. Oh, well, let's do the Madam Duchess first. Okay, go, Madam. Go, Madam. Nope, that's not my Christmas tree, but it looked like it could have been this. I do have some of my stuff under the tree though, but none of them are still in the Amazon boxes. But yeah, that was like a little gag photo someone put up a little while ago. But nope, not my tree. All right, you guys, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Wow, I had no idea that we'd be on so long, but I had like about 50 slides to go through, and we covered a lot. Nana, we covered a lot. Kind of sneaks up on you, don't it, Nana? Oh man. All right. So all right, thank you very much, everyone. I'm done. I'm just looking at the last comments here. Not much. No. Okay, never gets off. I know. I love that. I love all of those. I love all of those. But the music for the Once Upon a Time. Every time I hear that, I just get excited. I feel like something really big is about to happen. And then of course there's the Royal Sussex. So not exactly a epic drama, but it's cool. I wish the show would measure up to the music, but one of these days. You're welcome, Pam Porter. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, that's it. Big Mama, I didn't say a proper hello. Hey, Big Mama. All right, that was proper. Okay, you guys, we're good then. I am going to bid you a farewell. Thank you so much. Remember to check out Misty Blue. Haven't had a chance to check it out myself, but I'm going to go over there tonight and take a look and everything and like and share and stuff. So I hope everybody else will too. All right, so thank you, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Love you guys.